Hi you guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Patience. To my existing subscribers, welcome back. If this is your first time here, be sure to click that subscribe button and that notification bell so you can continue to indulge in the Hot Bella experience. In today's video, I am going to be giving my first impression on the ABH Norvina Volume 1 eyeshadow palette. So this is one of the items that I picked up during the Sephora holiday sale. It's one of those palettes that I had been yearning and wanting for so long. I mean, ever since this palette first came out, it has been on my wish list. I wanted this in my collection and I wanted it as soon as possible. This is what this palette looks like. This is a gorgeous palette. It's got some very pigmented and vibrant eyeshadow shades in this palette. It has a lot of purples and pinks in this palette. The shades in this palette are beautiful. They are so pigmented. However, that pigmentation does come at some cost. I will say that. As you guys will hear me mention in this video, there is some kick up in this pan. It's not unbearable, but it is there. So just wanted to mention that, but you guys see how this look turned out today. It is absolutely gorgeous. I have been wanting to get into some more colorful looks and I wanted to use the fall season to do that. I'm also using another shade from my Fenty Beauty Glossy Posse Gloss Bomb kit. I talked about this during my Sephora holiday haul as well, and this is what this looks like. I want to show this to you guys again, and today I am using this shade right here. In my haul video, I said that this shade was called Cherry, but now that I'm taking a better look at this, the name of this shade is called Cheeky. So yeah, so I'm using this in this video as well today. I'm also revisiting this beautiful palette right here. I purchased this during my Sephora holiday haul as well, and this is the Sephora Pro Face Palette. This is gorgeous and I am so glad that I have this in my collection, you guys. I'm going to be able to use this palette in so many different ways. It's definitely going to get some good use in my collection. And I'm also using the Cover FX Perfect Setting Powder. So I purchased this in the mini size. There's something about Cover FX products that for some reason I don't hear it talked about a lot, but Cover FX is a really good brand and I am really loving this setting powder. But yeah, I'm going to be using that in this video today as well. I think now that I've gotten my feet wet, you guys, I am ready to dive into some colorful looks this fall. I'm so excited about it. I'm excited to share it with you guys. So if you guys would like to see how I created this look using the ABH Norvina Volume 1 eyeshadow palette, then keep watching. I have moisturized my face and I also used the Smashbox Photo Finish Smooth and Blur Primer. So this was a gift set that I picked up a little while ago, so I wanted to try this primer out again today. I've used this before and I think I liked it quite a bit, so I'm using that to prep my skin today. And I'm also using the Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadow base to prep my eyelids. This is the first time that I'm using the Norvina Volume 1 palette, so I decided to use their eyeshadow base or their eyeshadow primer as well, just to try to get the best results from this palette. The first shade that I'm going to use as my brow bone highlight is the shade A4. This is a nice shimmer shade. The next shade I'm going to use as my transition shade is E3, and this shade looks to be like almost like a soft mustardy yellow type color here in the pan. So I'm going to use this as my transition shade. Just tap this base out just a little bit to make sure I don't have any creases. And I'm keeping this above my natural crease line at this point. And now I'm going to use the shade C5, and that is this shade right here. And I'm going to use this shade in my crease area. Ooh, when it comes to pigmentation, be careful what you wish for. This is extremely pigmented. She dusty too though. But when it comes to getting this type of pigment, I guess, you know, one could expect to get some type of kick up in the pan. Try to even these out just a little bit. And I'm going to use the same fluffy brush that I used before to apply the E3 shade, which is kind of that mustardy yellow type shade. And I'm going to just try using whatever remaining product I have on the brush here for right now, just to kind of soften this up a little bit and to bring that back just a little bit more. So just real softly, just blending that out, blending out this harsh line, trying to make that a little bit more smooth. I may have to tap in and get just a little bit more of the product on my brush as well. Keeping it really high though, keeping it really close to that brow bone. But I think I want to bring out that that E3 a little bit more, that mustardy yellow color. So I'm going to go to an even smaller blending brush and I'm going to dip right into that again. Tap her off really good, and I'm going to just try concentrating right at the highest point of where the darker shade is on my lid already. That shade is called C5. So I'm trying to stay just above that just a little bit, just to gently blend that in. So I want the pigmentation, but I need it to be blended. Because for these mature eyes, if I don't take the time to kind of soften out the blend, or to just to soften out the look in general, it gets to be a little bit too much for my liking. So I want the color, I want the pigmentation, but I also want to feel comfortable in it. All right, I like that. And now I'm going to use the shade E5, and that is this shade right here. And I'm going to use this shade on the outer V and into my crease area as well, just to deepen it up just a little bit more. So I went back in with a little bit more of the Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadow primer base, and I have carved out my lids, little half cut crease type of thing that I always do. And now I'm going to take my brush, the same brush that I used to apply the shade E5, which is the shade that's on the outer V. I'm just going to take that just a little bit. You guys know how I do it. I'm just going to soften this up just a little bit. And so far I have not added any additional product to this brush. I'm trying to use what's already on the brush and also the product that's already down on my lid. And now I'm going to use this shade right here, and this shade is E4. And I think this shade may be showing a little bit washed out here on the camera, but it is a very vibrant, almost pelican pink kind of shade. Very, very pretty. I think it's going to look really good on the lid here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to apply this to the area where I have carved out the lid, starting here in the inner corner and then taking it out. So yeah, I'm going to use the shade E4 for that. This is a lot of pigment, so expect some fallout. I did better on this eye. I have substantially less fallout, but I went in and pressed this shadow into place first, like really pressed it in really good, and then started to manipulate it. And I think that helped me to get a lot less fallout. And since I'm trying to ease into all of this pigmentation, I'm going to play it a little safe today, even though I do feel like I have quite a bit of color on my eyelids. I like the way it's turning out so far. I'm going to go back into the shade here. This is E5, and I'm just going to do a little bit more blending of these two shades that I already have on my lid. The lighter pink shade, again, is called E4, and this darker shade here is E5. So yeah, I'm just going to go back into E5 again and just blend these together just a little bit more. I'm going to go back into the shade C5 here once again, and this is the shade that I used as my transition shade when I first started this eye look. So I'm going to go back into this shade and add a little bit more definition. I feel like I lost a little bit of the E3 shade, which is again this yellow mustardy type of shade. So I'm going back in and just kind of adding a little bit more of this, right? Still staying very, very close to the eyebrow because I don't want to bring it down too far, but I don't want to lose that shade either. So all right, I'm going to add my liner and my lashes. So I've added my liner and my lashes. I also did some color correcting around my mouth area using my SX14 Sensual Skin Enhancer from Kevyn Aucoin. And I also used my Tatcha Pearl to conceal a little bit and do some color correcting under my eyes. And now I'm going to use the Cover FX Natural Finish Oil-Free Foundation. I purchased the Cover FX setting powder during the Sephora holiday sale, and I'm really liking that powder, so I decided to use this foundation today so I can use those two products in combination with each other. So I'm going to start off applying this foundation using a stippling brush, and then I'm going to go in with a sponge just to smooth it all out. It's been a while since I've used this foundation, but yeah, I'm really starting to have a newfound appreciation for Cover FX. I'm going to use the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Concealer in the shade 380 to do some concealing and highlighting under my eyes. And I'm also going to use the Tarte Clay Foundation. This is in Rich Honey. You guys have seen me use this many times before. I'm going to use this as my cream contour, and this is a really good product to use for that. And then I'm going to set my under eye area using my Hourglass Veil Translucent Setting Powder. You guys have heard me talk about this powder and seen me use it in many other videos. I love this translucent powder for setting under the eyes. And now I'm going to use the Perfect Setting Powder from Cover FX. This is the item that I picked up during the Sephora holiday sale. So this is a mini size of this product, and I've used this once before, and I think I like this quite a bit. So yeah, since I'm using the Cover FX foundation today, I want to pair this with this setting powder. And now I'm going to go into my Sephora Pro Face Palette, and I'm going to use this shade right here. This shade is called After Party, and I'm going to add a little bit of blush. I'm going to use this as blush, so I'll add this to my cheeks. This is looking pretty good, but I think I want to warm up my face just a little bit more. So I am going to go into Jet Setter here, and I'm going to do a little bit of bronzing just to add a little bit more warmth into this look. And now it's time for highlighter, and I am going to be using one of the glow kits from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and this is their Sugar Glow Kit. And I'm going to use this shade right here. This shade is called Gumdrop. And now it's time to smoke out my waterline, and I'm going to go back into the ABH Norvina Volume 1 palette, and I am going to use, I think I'm going to use a combination of these two colors right here. These are the same colors that I already have on my eyes as my transition and my crease color. So I'm going to go into C5, I'm going to use E5, and I think for my inner corner, I am going to use, I really want to use this white, but I think that may be a little bit too much. We'll break into that white for another look that I have planned using this palette. So I think that for my inner corner highlight, I'm going to use A1 right here. I'm going to start off with the C5. Then I'm going to use a little bit of the E5. These colors are very similar, but the E5, which is this color here, has a little bit more red in it. I really want to use that white in this inner corner, but I'm not. Stick with the original plan, and I'm going to use A1. And I'm going to just put this right here. Okay, I hope I don't totally mess this look up, but I'm going to go ahead and add the A1 to the other eye because I have to keep them equal. Whatever I do to one eye, I have to do to the other. But I'm going to put some white on top of this. I want some of that white in my inner corner. I'm going to put it right on top of where I've put that A1. Because this is an all matte look. So the A1 is a shimmer shade. So yeah, I probably should have followed my first mind and just kept it all matte. But I'm going to try to correct it here. I'm going to go in with the C1, which is the white in this palette, and just really brighten up this inner corner. Very pretty. And now it's time for lips, and I'm going to use one of the glosses that came in this Fenty Beauty Glossy Posse lip gloss set. I'm going to use this shade right here, and this shade is called Cheeky. I think in my haul video I may have said that this shade was called Cherry. It's the brightest shade in the Glossy Posse Gloss Bomb kit. I'm going to use this liquid lipstick. This is a liquid lipstick that's from Lena Lashes. This is in the shade Michael. It is in the shade Michael. So I'm going to use this liquid lipstick to line my lips first, and then I'll go in with the Cheeky Gloss from Fenty Beauty. And this look is done. This was my first time using the Norvina Volume 1 palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. It is so full of pigment. With that said, there is some kick up in the pan, so she is a bit dusty. But anytime that you're dealing with a pigment that you're going to be using on the eyes, you could pretty much count on getting some form of kick up in the pan for that type of product. The Gloss Bomb from Fenty Beauty in the shade Cheeky was absolutely beautiful. The Cover FX Setting Powder. I love this powder. The Sephora Pro Face Palette. Love this palette. So glad I have it in my collection. I hope you guys liked this video. And if you did, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys on my next video. Bye-bye.